Staying 12 yards out, happy to be joined by Zander Diamond. Zander, how are you?
Good afternoon, boys. Yeah, all good. Can't wait for the football to start back. So yeah, looking forward to this webinar.
I think Premier League starting this week. I think we're all sort of sitting up here in Scotland a wee bit jealous of them as they kick off. I think it's as we record this, it'll be Wednesday night.
I think it is. Yeah, it's Sky Sports seems to be plugging it all with all the sort of all these games, and I think BBC's got a few, and I think I read somewhere that the divorce rate may go up with regarding football on the telly rather than the pandemic itself. But no, it'd be nice to get it back. Watched a bit of the German football, which has been good, and probably the Premier League will match that, if not better.
I just think it's dead weird. See, when obviously I think in the first games were like Borussia Dortmund, Schalke. And I just found it very, very odd, the just complete dead silence. I think the league have got it all right. We've got the piped in fan noises and things like that. It just that behind closed doors stuff to me is just still a bit odd. But
it's similar. It's like a training match. Boys that play the game will understand it. It's just empty, just echoey. Sort of reserve sort of training match. But like you said, they played in crowd noise a wee bit better. But the major derby in Germany, and there was no crowd at it. The Dortmund game in Schalke, so it'll take a bit getting used to. But I'm sure the Premier League will have something up their sleeve that nobody's really thought of.
Well, we've got something a bit more interesting today. Talk about your career, Zander. Two Aberdeen legends, I think, James, and then you're just stuck in the corner. You first of all, you obviously broke through at Aberdeen. I think it was under Steve Patterson.
Yeah, that's right. It was my first season as a pro. I'd been there since 10, 11 year old, and the usual stuff. You obviously born in Glasgow, so you used to go up at Easter weekends and October weeks. Then mid-teens, I got the S form. That was 3-4 years attached to the football club, and then when I was there, it was Zeb Scovdale and Gardner Spears. And then change of management happened, and Steve came in with Duncan Shearer, a great pedigree from Inverness. Duncan Shearer being an Aberdeen legend in his own right. But they were great straight away for me. I was only a young boy at 17, 18. And, my first year up there and to make my debut, it was the centenary year as well. A lot of people forget that in 2003 is the centenary year. So I managed to get on the pitch against Southampton. Gordon Strachan and Southampton came up to play, and I think James Beattie played that night, and Wayne Bridge and all, they were at Southampton at the time. And after the game, Steve Patterson said, "Listen, you'll not be going down the road," and because that was all the under-19 stuff was sort of finished, so you're doing SVQs and all that up there, and a lot of the boys were going down the road after they'd done it on the Wednesday morning. Tuesday night game happened, and I get told that you wouldn't be going down the road. So when all the boys went on the Wednesday down to Glasgow, I was stuck in the digs. Didn't have any stuff because then on the Friday beforehand we played the Youth Cup final against Celtic, so you kind of clear your digs out, and it was just a case of going back for a couple of days. But got the call, didn't have anything. I remember going up to I think it was Duncan Fraser, the general manager, and asked for basically an advance because you needed to wear a suit and all that sort of stuff, and everything was all down the road. So it was great to be involved in that, and then suddenly you were going in the squad to Tannadice on the Saturday. So it came about quite quick. I phoned the family, friends, but you go and make your debut in a new firm derby at the end of the season. It was great for me, my first season.
No, because I can mind I was going back a few years, to be fair, but I played with Aberdeen sort of in their youth system sort of when I was sort of like 9 or 10. And yep. I don't know, because obviously you're from Glasgow as well, they sort of had like a Central Belt Academy programme. I don't know, was that the same year? Because I know when I was there, you had boys that were staying, we trained out of the Hamilton Palace, I think it was, and then you had boys going up to Aberdeen.
That's where we were. It was a coach called John Ward that was there. I don't know if you remember him. And they came down, Drew Jarvie came down, overseeing a lot of things, and that's when they sort of, they picked the best and got the S forms in early doors, and they allowed you to play school football, which was really important because there was a choice between Celtic and Aberdeen, but Celtic had a thing that you weren't allowed to play with your school. So I felt at that time like it was important to play a lot of football. Just to play one game a weekend. At times you were playing 2 and 3 games. You're playing the school in the morning, then a boys' club in the afternoon in Aberdeen. like the Aberdeen sort of select team. But also there was a great vehicle for the players, like the young players. You look at the players that came through the youth system, like the young brothers, Phil Maguire, Russell Anderson, Michael Hart, Kevin Rooker. There was a lot of young players allowed to come through, and that was a great thing, because if you had a couple of good years sort of in the youth team, and fortunate enough, and latterly that was, then they gave you your chance, and that was important. I think if you were to maybe win it all for them, you might have not got that chance early on. So it was important in that respect. I took advice, and Drew Jarvie and John Ward sat me down and said, listen, this is a big, between 13 and 17 basically, this is a make or break. I try to emphasise that to kids just now. It's an important period of your career. Obviously the distractions that go about, and more so now with social media. So yeah, an important period. But as I said, it was all from Glasgow, and then you went up and you mixed with people for the Dundee ones, Inverness, all the sort of everybody amalgamated. And it was great, because you were, I think you were putting digs along Great Western Road, and it was like 2 or 3 to a guest house, and it was carnage at times. As we get picked up in the bus in the morning and they're taken into training, but it disciplines you as well. How to look after yourself for going up there as a pro.
I think that's something that helped you as a young guy growing up, being away from home, up in Aberdeen. So you're right away from everything.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as just going, oh, sod this, I want to go home. You can jump in a bus or a taxi or a train or whatever else. I think that just helps you mature.
100%. I said, like, at the time, it made me grow up. Having to learn, you get a wage package, and you had to sort of, pay your digs. It was up to you to pay your landlady. It wasn't coming through the club. So don't get me wrong, there's a lot of players that already had their money spent before it was in. It was managing your money, and you had to go and get your bus pass, because I couldn't drive at the time. So you had to sort of get your basics right. Get your digs paid, your transportation to and from the ground, and everything that comes with that. Disciplined is yes, how to manage money, but also, don't get me wrong, I remember the first 3-4 months, we used to get a rail warrant every week, and boy, we used it. It was just like, I remember games, we used to be in the ground staff, and you would clean the change room on a Saturday at like 5 o'clock, and you were going for the train at like 7:15, getting in Glasgow at 10:15, 10:30, and then having 24 hours and going back up the road. You're saying to yourself, looking back on it, you're saying, why didn't you just stay up there? But it was just the sort of missing home, seeing your family, seeing your friends. But it was a crowd of us, it used to be the Glasgow boys and Aberdeen boys, so the way it's split with the ground staff, all the boys were 2 taxi loads to the train station and straight down the road. But as I sort of started to train with the first team, and rest was important, and sort of been involved in like squads and all that, you couldn't really go home at weekends, or you'd be playing the reserve football. At that time it was Monday night, so you've been training on a Sunday. So latterly that sort of started to go away a wee bit, and then suddenly started to find your feet, and stay probably most weekends up in Aberdeen.
I was proper testing that. I can mind, like, even from, I think I was there when I was about between 9 and sort of 10 or 11, and even for that they were totally telling you need to do this to get to 16, 17, getting into the first team and stuff. There was a proper, from very early on, it seems, at Aberdeen, it's gearing you up for perhaps playing for the first team one day. It was
discipline, and we were on, the ground staff duties, cleaning the bus. You probably remember the buses. Used to clean the buses. From it had to be gleaming, or everybody was back. Remember changing rooms, balls. Remember Jim Leighton. If the ball wasn't like a certain 11, 12, but pumped up, it was like you just put the ball away. And if you're on they used to train at the barracks at the time, and if you're on the balls, you've got to go and fetch about half a dozen balls. And the goalies were ruthless. Don't get me wrong, they were ruthless. They wanted a ball special, and they've got to be the right, weight and all that. But I always remember one time, I think, we were in the stadium to about 5 o'clock, and the digs were kind of half an hour away. So the bus journey back for your dinner, I remember we just got in the digs and we got a call to go back. I think that was the time before mobile phones. I think they phoned the landlady and said, listen, one person's not done their job. Everybody was back into Pittodrie, because somebody never done their job. So it was, if somebody messes up, you all mess up. So it taught us, like, get your jobs, whether it be boots, whether it be cleaning the changing rooms. I think it was a change room skirting board. It was dirty. There was something bizarre as that, but it made everybody come back in, and it just taught you that life lessons. Keep your stuff in order, do your jobs properly. If one lets you down, the whole whole team has got to be in. I suppose that works on a Saturday. If one lets you down on a Saturday, you know, the whole team fails.
Imagine if you got that nowadays, but like, imagine you went in Aberdeen now, you have to go back. You never cleaned a skirting board. Like, oh.
I remember used to run back as well. I remember one of the boys, can't remember who it was. We were coming back for the barracks, and just at the bridge, is it the Dawn Bridge, just kind of just at Seaton Park area, and Drew stopped the bus, and everybody had to run back. It was first another, I think it was something to do with discipline again, and one of the boys caught the bus. So I think it was about a 10-minute run, but one of the boys caught the bus, the public transport, and he was back earlier, and about 10, 12 of the boys were all running the corner, and he was already there. But unknown to him, Drew was watching. You know, he got off the bus at the side the stadium, and I think he get taken back out again and made to run again. But it was just, you know, it was good days. The youth team were brilliant. You know, as they bring it back, you know, discipline is lost. I think it shapes you and moulds you as a person and as a player.
No, definitely. Sort of Jimmy Calderwood was the one that sort of gave you your first proper run in the team. Yeah,
well, to go back to Steve. Steve, after that initial game at Tannadice, I played 45 minutes. I went away over the summer, and it was a case of, as soon as I came, it was the work even harder to stay in the first team. But when you went back, you were back in the youth team again. And then I think it was 6 weeks, 2 months, we played in the Highland Cup, or the Cup Aberdeen Cup.
Yeah.
And we played in Brewery Locals, and I was doing well. I was doing well in the youth team. I was doing well in the reserves, and said, "Listen, I think we're playing Hearts." We played Dumbarton in the Cup, but my league debut was Hearts at home, and they were a big, strong team. You know, your Presleys, your Severins at that time, your Mark de Vrieses. They were an unbelievable Hearts team. And you know, I think we played Rangers the following week, and it was like a baptism of, you know, your first 2 games, Hearts and Rangers at Ibrox, and you were like, wow, you know, Michael Moll, you're up against Michael Moles, and last week you're playing against, no disrespect, Inverurie Locos, and next week you're playing against Rangers at Ibrox, where the rivalry is intense and a great fixture to play in. But I sort of had a good run at that, and then the change of managers, you know, obviously Steve had his own problems, and you know, unfortunate that they get removed these duties, and then came the 2 Jimmys, who were absolutely fantastic for my career on and off the park.
No, definitely. I mean, you saw Aberdeen obviously they had a bit of a poor season sort of before Jimmy Calderwood came in, and it seemed to be that sort of 4-year period, sort of between 2005, 2008, 9. Was sort of a renaissance, obviously the UEFA Cup stuff as well in the middle of that.
That's right. I always remember his first training. He came in, I didn't really know who Jimmy was. I knew who Jimmy Nicholl was because obviously he's passed from Northern Ireland Rangers and Manchester United. But when he came in the first day, he was, you know, taken aback with light, and he spoke about standards. He says, for this football club to go forward, this place has got to be raised as in performances. But then he started, the stadium was getting painted, wee things about the stadium that, as he said, I think we played Rangers on the first day of the season, and he said it had been into disrepair. It was like, you know, changing rooms with chips off like skirting boards, and he made it sort of small things, made it more professional environment, that off the park. But on the park, I remember the training session, the first training session, I think he stopped it within 2 or 3 minutes, and it was like, boys, you know, it's like you're at the cones, you get some boys will stand, some boys will do the movement, you know, what you would do normally on a Saturday. And he stopped the training. I think boys were like standing like lampposts, 3 or 4 of them in a row. And he stopped it, and he just went, there's no wonder you have not had any success, or you're getting beaten in games, or, you know, would you do that on a Saturday? And straight away, the boys that bought into it, that he wouldn't be taking any rubbish and any substandard, even in training, they were quickly out the door. So me being a young boy, I was sort of like, you know, I like a bit of this, I like discipline, I like a sort of a structure about this. And as you said, like I thrived under him, you know, I love playing under him. The camaraderie between me and Jimmy Nicholl, brilliant, first class. You know, spoke to him a few weeks ago, just before the lockdown, and, you know, because he just asked about coaching and stuff like that. Jimmy Calderwood messaged me the other week there, just asking how things are. It was like, it's still close to this day, but for what the guys did for me, I can't thank them enough. But as you said, like if we go on, and, you know, the league positions are sort of to improve year on, year out, year in, year out, and suddenly we're in Europe, which, what an occasion. You know, it's like, I don't think anybody had was confident in us getting through the Dnipro game. The Dnipro game is not unknown quantity. Dnipro as well, you know, Ukrainian. Everybody knows Shakhtar, etc. But it was Dnipro, and you went right. Okay, we managed to get 0-0 at Pittodrie, which people said, "Oh, well, you're still in the tie." And then I think it was a £1 million goal when Daz scores, Dan Mackey scores, and suddenly you're away from home, and they tried everything to put us off, even pre-match, you know, flares, everything. It was unknown to us, a lot of the youngsters in our team. I think there was 11 Scotsmen started that night over there. And what an occasion. You know, they scored with 30 minutes to go, and I think they just peppered us. I done an interview the other day, and they were talking about nerves. I think I was more nervous in that last 30 minutes than I have ever been in my career, because of the magnitude and sort of the what's at stake to get into the group stages, the UEFA Cup. And we managed to hold on. You know, they hit the post, there was blocks, there was saves, there was deflections, there was corners, just honestly, and then suddenly the relief. You know, I think a lot of boys just fell at their feet, and I think Jimmy said it was one of his best results ever in the game, and you know, it was.
You need that, I think, but a lot, obviously for a team other than Celtic and Rangers, sort of these, nobody sort of outside. I know Millwall got to like the Europa League playoffs and stuff, sort of 2010-11.
Yeah.
These went as far as Aberdeen outside of Glasgow in terms of European football and achieving as much as you did in that season.
Well, I think at that stage, I think Celtic won the Champions League and Rangers won the Champions League. Rangers incidentally got to the final that tournament that year. I think the national team were doing really well, so Scotland's coefficients were really high at that time. But if you were to say, you know, it was a one-off game, you know, nowadays it's like 3 or 4 preliminary rounds to get through, and you know, time the boys get to sort of the main one. They're, you know, they're just starting pre-season, and the format of it is just, I think it's ridiculous. You know, it was fortunate enough for us, we'd one game. It was a one-off sort of two-legged tie, and we managed to get through. But then you get picked against, you know, Atletico Madrid, Panathinaikos, Copenhagen, and Lokomotiv Moscow. You know, there's teams that's in the Champions League probably just now. And what an experience. You know, we managed to play Atletico away and Panathinaikos away. You know, Athens and Madrid, 2 massive cities, great cities to go to. But over there, it was fantastic. You know, going the night before and flying on duty. A lot of the boys never played in Europe before, and you know, the experience flying out for Aberdeen Airport, the fans, and you know, they were used to it. You know, the history of the Fergie years, and that they were used to sort of European competitions year in, year out. But to go there and experience that, it was brilliant. And how we managed to get through the group, it was, you know, I think at that time there was 5 in the group and 3 went through. So I think we done a week off, and whatever way the results went, all we had to do was beat Copenhagen, and 0-0 at half time, and it was like, right, okay, we just go for it. And I think when Smudger scores 2, I think the first goal he scores for about 40 yards, and Jamie Smith, and we win the game 4-0. And you're like, we're in the last 32 now. It was quite funny because we never sent a representative over to the draw. I don't know if they never thought that we weren't going to get through or whatever. So I think the wee golf kind of, was it the bowling? So just across the Pittodrie, right in the corner.
Okay.
We actually watched the draw in there.
All right.
Some of the boys were that late that because we were first at the hat, that they'd missed it. So first at the hat, we didn't even get a run for it. You know, I think boys had just sat down, and that was the draw was over, and it was Bayern. It was Bayern. You're like, wow, another Champions League team. You know, brilliant.
When you get to that point, and do you start to think that, all right, we want a weird team where, you know, there's an actual chance we could really go through, or do you sit and go, no, we want a Bayern Munich where it's the big European night and the glamour that comes with all that?
It's not something that we probably thought of. I think after the Copenhagen game, because it was late at night, time you do the media, time you do everything. I don't think there was even I can't remember even looking at who was left and who was through. And then it was, I think the draw was early in the morning, so you didn't really, time you got to the stadium, the draw was on. So it was just sort of like, all right, but then I think to draw probably the biggest one you could have got in Bayern, you know, if anybody said to me, and I think a lot of players, like, you'd be playing Bayern Munich, home and away, you'd be pinching yourself. You know, the marquee name, the marquee players, and it was a terrific experience. But it's a good point that it's like probably now with social media and everything like that, you get everything, who's through, who could be through, who's potentially could be getting out, and the way that it all works now. But at that time, it was just a case of well, we've got it and you just have to deal with it.
Aye, I mean, I think you played Aguero. I think he's been the same since.
But the thing is, that was the away game in Madrid. It was a cracking night. It's the old stadium. You could actually Vicente Calderon, a remarkable footballing arena. I know they've got a new stadium now, but at that time it was Forlan. They were all talking about because he'd done well at Villarreal, and obviously they linked with Man United. So when people say, "Oh, you played against Aguero," he wasn't sort of like the player you would look at. It was Forlan. I think it was Thiago was there. There was Luis Garcia, who was at Liverpool. I managed to get his jersey, and you were like, when you look back, I remember when I signed for Oldham, and Aguero was in Manchester, and they'd done a piece down there, and it was like, the apartment overlooked Etihad, and you said, well, they ran a wee story about Aguero, but at that time, you're looking back, he wasn't really the one that everybody focused on.
I mean, when you just think of some of the teams that Aberdeen did manage to beat at that time before getting to Bayern Munich, it really is. I mean, imagine if you said now that Aberdeen would get through a group stage with that, and that's not really any disrespect to Copenhagen or Aberdeen, sorry, but to beat teams like Copenhagen and go to like Athens and Madrid, putting performances and then getting through a group like that, I mean, we probably won't see anything like that ever again from a Scottish team outside of Glasgow.
No, that's the thing. It's like we went to Greece. We got battered in Greece. We battered 3-0 in Greece, and it was like, this is the elite here. It's like, I think one mistake's a goal, and you sort of learned that way. And then we played Moscow at home, and Ivanovic played. I managed to get his jersey, and he scored the equaliser. I managed to score to make it 1-0, and you went, all right, we've something to hold on to. And Ivanovic scored just before half time. It kind of knocked the stuffing out of us a wee bit. They had Odin Wengi up front. I think they had the boy Belling and Detinoff. It was at Everton. Players that, international players, and that moved around the world for millions of pounds. And Atletico teams, as we touched on, but Copenhagen had like Marcus Olbach, a Swedish international, Gronka. These players, they're not against an Aberdeen team. It was just, it was made up of Scottish boys and a few foreign lads, but probably they never knew who we were. And we knew an awful lot what they were, and then you go and you test yourself against Bayern, which I think, it was beyond your wildest dreams to. Because suddenly, I remember, you looked at the Bayern team once it was sort of, because it wasn't, the draw was in December, but we weren't playing until February, so it gave you enough time like to research who plays for who, and you look at the strike force that they had and who you'd be coming up against. You had Miroslav Klose, who 2006 he was a Golden Boot winner in the World Cup, and Luca Toni, who'd won the World Cup. There's Schweinsteiger, there's Roberto, Podolski, who I think he was voted a young player in that tournament, the 2006 World Cup. You're letting Philip Lahm at Germany, Oliver Kahn, who's got over, I think, 200 caps. I did about 100 cap plus at Germany. It's surreal, unbelievable.
It's weird actually seeing photos of like people like that, and they're just playing at Pittodrie. It's just a very cool.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, I remember the first leg. Once it started to generate in the local media, and I think it was 25 years since Aberdeen played Bayern in the UEFA Cup when they won it. The Cup Winners' Cup, when they won it. So it was a sort of history there. So it was built, so it was sell out both home and away. But to touch on the home leg first, it was, always remember, we kind of sneaking down to it was a foggy night, on a Wednesday night, so they trained the night before. So me and Chris Maguire jumped in the car, kind of went down up Pittodrie Street, and their bus was there. We're like, surely no drove for Germany, no, they're treating this game, flew over and the bus drives for Germany, big Bayern bus and that. So I don't know if there was an opening or we went into the players' entrance, but we managed to sneak in to the Richard Donald stand and watch them train. It was only me and him, and we're actually looking at them. They were punching the ball about, and their technique. Watching these guys, and you're like, 24 hours later, you're going to be playing against them. So we kind of came away from Pittodrie. We never told anybody because I think nowadays it'd be all social media. The way it was, it'd be absolutely. That'd be gold dust for, spying. We had to hang with Bielsa down at Derby with that. But we went in and we watched them, and then suddenly you were. And Pittodrie was special that night because usually before like a normal game, cup game, like League Cup game, Scottish Cup or League, it kind of the fans fill up kind of gradually. But I remember going out to do the warm-up that night, and it felt as if everybody had taken their seat or standing in their seats, with the warm-ups, and probably with Bayern being there as well. And, it was it was as if the game had started while you were doing your warm-up. And then he said, well, we always used to read about, and used to always speak to Willie Miller and Neil Simpson about the European nights and what it was like at Pittodrie, to be rocking, seeing old footage and all that. But to be playing that game, and I believe they got a due-based penalty. I think it was Alton top that scored. I think Alan Maybury took him down, if I'm no mistaken. And we thought we applied ourselves well that night. And then suddenly you get a draw, and then it's always, can we beat them over there? And I think that's a bit of a dream, that one.
Yeah. No, I think I always sort of think of it as, I don't know if you sort of listen to Oasis and stuff, but that was almost like Aberdeen's like Nedworth moment at that time. They reached such a height that it was going to be hard to sort of recapture moments like that again. Yeah, and it's looking back, when you're in it, people say, did you enjoy it? Say, but you don't really. It's not until you take a step back and we're talking about it now, you actually, when you're reminiscing, you're speaking about it, you did enjoy it. It was a fantastic to be involved in at such a young age, and the experience that you gain from it. But as you said, I think at that time we were doing well in the league. We were in the semi-final of the League Cup, the semi-final, I think the quarter-final of the Scottish Cup, and we were in the last 32 of Europe. I think we laughed at that, so we were in all 4 competitions, which at that time for Aberdeen, the quarter, what I mean? I think by the end of February, February, March, we were out everything. But no, going back on it, it was great. He said, we get the 2-2 draw at Pittodrie. You go over there, people are saying, can you do it? Can you pull off a big scalp here and everything? But they brought back their bigger guns, really, because I think they rested Lamb, they rested Oliver Kahn, they rested Lucio. And all that, I'm sure. I think Lucio played the second game. I think it was Van Boyten and somebody else that played the first, if I'm not mistaken. And then, they went with the big guns at home, and Van Bommel played. And he was in the first game, and they're like, wow. I think Tony Cruz was on the bench. It was just like, as if they said, right, okay, we've had that. That's not bad, is it?
Not a bad thing to have in reserve, but as you said, he was just a young boy at the time, so he didn't really know what he was going to do. But we went over there, and I remember we flew into the airport and everything like that, and you're driving past it, and it was all just lit up red, as you see in the television, and it was just remarkable. Then you go and get changed, go to the stadium, and you're saying 67,000, 68,000 sell out capacity because of the history. But what an occasion over there. And I think they hit the crossbar after about 30 seconds, and you're like, oh, I think Big Lucio done amazing for his own ball, and threw about half a dozen of us and cracked the crossbar, and you're like, this could be a long night here.
Was there anybody you came up against in that European run that maybe wasn't quite as well known, but it just made you think, Christ, this boy's really, really good?
Oh, a good question. I always focused on the strikers. I always focused on who you're coming up against and who you're going to play. And the European run is, looking back, you get Aguero, you get Forlan, you've got Luca Toni, Klose, Podolski, players all back, a Swedish legend. So I never really looked beyond it. You could say nobody really stands out. Probably Matt Van Bommel over there. Now come to think of it, the way he sort of got a grip of the game, and I think it was the 4th goal over there. I think they got a bit sloppy. There was we scored to make it 4-1, and he just said, no, this isn't happening. He controlled the midfield that night, and then I think he went and scored the 5th goal. That sort of way. It's just have to say, right, you think, and I just step it up a mark again. A phenomenal player, Dutch internationals and captain his national team. So I think just off the top of my head, just with that, flex the muscles and say, right, no, we'll accept it. They get a bit sloppy and they probably took the foot off the gas a wee bit. We scored, and I think we all went mental. I think we all ran to the corner. 4-0 down, you score and make it 4-1. I think Stevie Lovewood scored, and we all ran away. And I think within 2-3 minutes, Van Bommel just went like, no, bang, bang, there you go, 5-1. Just know your place. So I probably should have him. He just kind of took the game and started just pulling the strings.
See, just obviously after spending so long at Aberdeen through as like a kid and stuff, and then obviously having to leave, I think it was 2009. Was that difficult? I know there was interest from Hearts, I think, before.
Yeah,
well.
I left in 2011. That's when I left. Jimmy left and Mark McGee came in, and I was recovering from an ankle injury. I had an operation that summer, and I got myself back. And then I think Mark at that time was going to Celtic. It was all kind of well documented that he was replacing Gordon Strachan. And then Tony Mowbray got it. And then the way the fixture computer worked, first game was Aberdeen Celtic, you know, just add to spice and everything like that. And I think I broke my ankle in the first day of the season, and that set me back. So probably looking at it and looking back now, I was probably 2 years too long at Aberdeen, because that sort of first year that Mark came in, I was battling injury. I think I injured it in August and never played again until January. Then you're playing catch up, and it's sort of like, I think it was in the bottom six at that time, and then you're into your final year of your contract where, you know, it's like if you've I'd a few good seasons beforehand, before Jimmy departed, and then obviously got to clean up with the ankle. There was interest from down south that if they need to like see you play for the first few games of the season, the way their transfer window was working, and there was sort of something I'd looked at to be going down south, and then I'd spoke to it with my wife, but she was my missus at the time up there, and it was like, should I move? And then I didn't. You know, I broke my ankle, and suddenly I had 2 years left my contract, and then sort of into the last year. And last year was sort of like, again, we started the season well, and then for one reason or another, it just sort of petered out. You know, with a lot of young boys, and I think it was more like you said. It's like your moment where you reach that with Jimmy Calderwood, your cup semi-finals, your European football, your high place finishes, and then suddenly there's going to be a sort of, if you're not up there, then suddenly you go there, and then there, you know, it's like the crowd turns and everything like that. And I felt at that time, you know, it was time to move, but you know, the proposed move was going, and it was well documented, but it never happened. So you move on, and you go to England, and you know, it was probably a blessing in disguise it never happened, because it allowed me to go down south and sort of just got on with a football career. Because at that time, I was the longest serving at Aberdeen. I'd been there since I was a young kid, and I always said you could close your eyes and walk in backwards to Pittodrie, and I knew where everything was. I needed a change. I felt I went stale, and you know, my injury, loss of form, and you know, that's a combination. And then the fans at the time were giving you a bit of stick, but listen, you take that. You know, if you're not performing, you do take that. You know, you're thick-skinned, and yeah, it was just the right time to move. Whether that was down to Hearts, but at that time, I think it was a long deal, and you'd still be in the SPL again. You know, so it was a case of, you know, never happened. Okay, move on, and then I get the call for Paul Dickoff to go down south, and as I said, we were down there. We just moved back last year, and I loved every moment of it. Just
before we move on to sort of career down south, there's one person I want to ask you about, and he's obviously still at the club, is Andy Considine. Yeah. How could you tell then that he would become, like, I think it's fair to say he's an Aberdeen legend now?
Yeah.
Like, what is his mentality that he's managed to stay so consistent over these years and still be at Aberdeen?
He used to be in the gym every day. I think, you know, he always worked hard with Andrew. He got a taste of you. I think he was on the bench and he came on a few times. I think he came on over in Madrid. I'm sure, if I don't know, but he was involved in our squad, you know, a young boy. You know, his father had played for Aberdeen, but, you know, and he would tell you the pressure's on the young guys up there, you know, especially being for Aberdeen. You know, I was a youth boy from Glasgow, but I think when you're from a young boy, you're from Aberdeen, it's even more pressure. Because everybody knows you, you know, I don't know if they're waiting for you to sort of slip up so they can jump on you. I'm not too sure with that. But he's done really well. You know, he's worked his backside off at times. You know, there's been times where every transfer window, you know, they're going to bring in, I think he was put to left back, you know, and he acquitted himself well there. And, you know, it just, when everybody writes him off, he comes back even stronger. But that determination as a young boy, you know, he wanted to improve. He was always in the gym. And I had to say to him, listen, Biggin, you need to tone it down a bit. You're going to be massive, and you get massive, you're going to lose your pace and all that. But credit to him, you know, I don't know how, you know, he's not been involved maybe in the national setup. I'm sure, you know what I mean, he would do well there. He never lets anybody down. I think if you ask Eric and the managers that's been before him. He just never lets anybody down. Whether he plays at centre back or left back. You know, he's not an out and out left back, but my God, he's done really well, and you say he's still there. He'll be part of the furniture soon.
Oh no, I will. I can mind he just seemed like I've watched him a few times this season, and especially I think this season one of his better seasons. I can mind watching him away to Ross County, and he's playing at left back and he's crossing balls into the halfway line, 35 yards, assists, big goals in the big moments. He just seems to. He really does embody sort of what.
Yeah,
to play for.
Well, I think he's get better as he's matured. Looking at it, you know, it's everybody's raw when you come in, but you just said, you know, if somebody said to you years ago that Andy Collins would be crossing balls in, goals, assists, you know, scoring a hat-trick at Dundee, was it? He scored a hat-trick.
They won like 7-0, didn't they?
Aye, like adding goals to his game, assists and all that, for a left side centre-back, you know, albeit he's playing left-back, you know, he's adapted well to where he's been asked to play, and fair play to him, you know. I don't know, he texted me when I'd retired, and, you know, there you go, it's like a nice guy off the park as well, you know, he took the time out to just give a wee message and a wee bit of words to myself, and, you know, that just the mark of a nice guy, and, you know, saying that he's got a few years on him to go.
Right, you moved sort of down south with Oldham. How did you sort of find English Football League when you initially went in it?
Tough, really tough. I think there's an ignorance towards the game. I think both sides of the border, because people down south only see Celtic and Rangers, and that's it. A lot of people up here just see the Premier League and possibly the Championship. I know there's more exposure on Sky and all that with League One, League Two, but you look at it, and I think if people have been through, there's an ignorance towards it. But when I went down and I'd you know, went to Oldham, and Paul, I'd known Paul for the Scotland setup, and he said, listen, come in and have a look at the place and see what you think. You know, Oldham, it was in the first Premier League. So that's the first thing I thought. Well, they were in the first shake-up of the Premier League back in the early 90s. And, right, okay, you go in, steeped in history. We stayed in Manchester at the time, and just along with, you know, it was a great experience. Just about, probably, from a personal point of view, get out of Aberdeen, because everybody knew your movement, everybody knew where you stayed, everybody sort of recognised you. So to go to Manchester and sort of just blend in and just sort of get on with your training, get on with your football, you know, without that sort of maybe off the park pressure that, you know, I mean, we all love pressure, but just a case of, you know, just living your life a wee bit more off the park. I felt at the time, at the latter stages of Aberdeen, you couldn't do that because you were open to criticism, and probably rightly so, but when you're out for a meal with your family or friends, you know, maybe just kind of leave it. There's time and place for it. But they said, went to Oldham and, you know, loved it as well. You know, but felt it tough straight away. You know, I think we played Sheffield United in the first game, and at that league at the time, it was Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Bournemouth, Huddersfield, MK Dons, Brentford. You know, big clubs now that are, a few are in the Premier League, a few have been in the Premier League, you know, doing well in the Championship. So I thought it really, really tough at the time, and try to adapt my game. You know, everybody said you played in the Premier League in Scotland, yeah, but down there it was tough.
How did you find adapting to the schedule down there? Because one of the things I think Peter Hartley said to us was that going from playing almost Saturday, Tuesday to coming up to Scotland and it being pretty much every Saturday and having more time to kind of work on shape and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So kind of how did you find the transition from the kind of calendar up here to the hectic English calendar? Yeah,
well, we had a good sports science at the time, and you go in, it's all, I mean, there's your fixtures, there's your, at the time, the Carling Cup. You know, so you play on the Saturday in the opening league game, you play Sheffield United at home, and then recovery Sunday, we're playing Carlisle on the Tuesday night, sorry. I think that was the Monday night in the League Cup, and then it was like the Saturday, and then it was the Tuesday and Saturday league away to Yeovil, and then it was the Johnson Paints, and then if you get through that, so it's like probably it's 4 or 5 weeks back to back, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, you know, so you don't really get a lot of time to recover. And, you know, it can be tough, but then that's all about managing your body, and that was something I was starting to learn. You know, I moved down there at 26, just turned 26, so how to manage yourself, how to manage your body, you know, you get into your sort of, your late 20s, so it was like, how can you push yourself to be the best each and every week, recover well, you know, eat well, you know, there was sports scientists in there, believe it or not, there wasn't a sports scientist at Aberdeen in all the time that I was there, so that was, again, new, you were getting into, we used to take your tablets, your shakes in the morning. And that was all new. You know, that they were all supplied for you. I don't know where that was money, financial I don't know, but everything was in your place for you to take. And well, that was even before training, you know, urine to everything like that. So that was probably a change that I was like, oh, this is no disrespect, you know what I mean? That was just sort of the time when I moved there. Everything was sort of like moving towards what we all know now, in regards to your sports science. But they got you prepared. They got you, you know, one of the days where you're running every day in pre-season. The ball was at, you know, it was more shorter stuff. It was more sharper stuff. And you said if you stay injury free for the first 4 or 5 weeks, then your season just sort of kicks off, and then you're into it. Then you get your breather. I mean, you get your rest days with Tuesday, Wednesdays off if you've had a hectic opening month.
Yeah, I mean, when you're saying about like no sports scientists there, I mean, could you imagine at any club now not having any sports scientists? Like, a lot of these people are now integral to how the first team are preparing these days. And you probably, even though they were about 10 years ago, it's definitely not as prominent as it is now. Like, I'm assuming at Queen's Park, it's obviously a big part of what you do there.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like sometimes the sports scientists can tell you how long you're training for and how long, you know, when standard was you're training for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Nowadays, the sports scientists say, listen, you're only training for 50 minutes because of he's got a nick or the GPS is showing. Everything's just totally changed. And, you know, you try and tell boys as much as possible. So you can get it into your body as young as you can, right? Get your recovery, your SEQs, your everything like that, how you operate, how you conduct yourself, how you look after yourself, then you'll have a long career. But at that time, I was learning, and, you know what I mean, I think a lot of the other boys were learning. But if you said, like, nowadays, I mean, a club without a sports scientist, you know what I mean, they'd be like, well, where's your ambition and stuff like that? You know, some clubs have got, you know, dietitians and everything like that. You know, it's crazy.
Modern football, but you spent a year at Oldham, then moved to Burton. I think it was Gary Rowett you worked under there.
That's right, yeah. I was supposed to sign an extra year in Oldham, but that was all new to me. It was a contractual thing, whereas at Aberdeen, all you'd known was all plain sailing, your deal was done, and, you know, you never sort of had any hiccups or clauses in it. And then there was something in, I think if you've made 30 starts, then you automatically get your second year. And suddenly Dickoff never played me in a game, and he never played me again. He brought me on, and I had a discussion with him, and then my agent sort of said, well, listen, they've slipped something in a way back. You know, when they're wanting to sign you, they'll do everything, you know what I mean? They'll do everything. They look at the short term, but then as the game started totting up, they couldn't honour what was the sort of second part of the deal, the year in the raise. So I had spoke with Paul, and Paul was quite honest, said, listen, yeah, there's a clause in your contract that if you play 30, then you need to get a new deal. Unfortunately, we can't honour that deal. So you're free to go and, like, speak to other clubs. And I was still under contract. You know, Paul Dickoff was brilliant. He was honest. And I think that's all you want in a manager. You know, he could have said, listen, no, you were out of form. Because he knew I wasn't out of form. He knew I wasn't. Like, I was he made me captain down there. So he was honest in a way that, you know, this is what's happening. Keep it under your hat, but allow you to go and speak to the clubs. But then again, if somebody says a year before that you fail a medical, that was what it was. So the deal didn't go to Hearts, and then you only played 29 games at Oldham. There must be some sort of injury. You know, so a lot of clubs were sort of standing off and everything like that. I went to Tranmere and I trained there, and they wanted to sign, but they couldn't commit. And then we came back up the road. I didn't want to come back up the road because I enjoyed my first year down there. And new stadiums, new players, playing against new players. And so I remember I think it was up for a wedding, and I got a call in Shrewsbury, we were on, and then Burton Albion came in. With all due respect, I didn't know who Burton Albion were, and I had to sort of research and, you know, what's what, you're going to League Two, right, okay. And, you know, the manager, Gary Rowett, which his background, he was at Everton, he was at Charlton, he was at Derby, you know, it was like, and I went like, right, okay, so I'm down to speak. And he went like, right, come on, I'll take you to a training ground. I'm like, right, Burton's got a training ground. All new to me, you know what I mean? It was like, because he said, like, if I keep reminiscing, Aberdeen never had that training ground, that base. Oldham did, but it wasn't like this. And she said, Burton, it was St George's Park, wasn't it? And said, this is where you're training. I was like, for a League Two team, he said, yeah, we've got a deal because Staffordshire, it was only 5 miles from the stadium, the Pirelli Stadium, to St George's. So I think there was some deal with the FA that we can play sort of under 16s, 18s games there and you can get the pitches for nothing. So I was like, you're going to work there every day. You know, irrespective if, you know, if you do well there, you're training every day. If you do well with Burton, you might get an odd move today. You're only 28 or something like that, 27, 28. But to go there and train, you know, people are saying, oh, wait, I'm just driving to St George's Park. A lot of people up the road didn't believe me. And they're taking photos. At that time, it was just on the pitches, not that were getting built. And we actually test ran it. We had to play a game amongst each other. And just do what you normally do in a match day, you know, kick your dirt off, leave your sock tape, just dirty the sinks. It was like a free range just to do that, to help the staff sort of go in and clean it. How does a modern changing room look? You know, if there's mud everywhere. So we actually played in the Wembley pitch that the England team used. But it was great. It was like, I enjoyed it. You know, Gary was very honest as well. Went in and I was captain there as well. I think he signed out a lot of players. There was a lot of transition period there, but it was a good football club, and we punched above our weight. I think we got to the playoffs that year, first year, and it was the highest ever. I think we missed out with a point. I think Steve Evans Rotherham beat us by a point or something like that. So then it meant that we played Bradford and we were fourth, they were seventh, and that was the year they played Swansea in the League Cup. So they did experience a Wembley, not how to get cup competitions, and the way you look at it now, it's great for me because when you look back down and you tell people up here how the format works down there, there's always one team that gathers momentum just at the end. You know, when the games are run down and whoever sneaks in always get through and get promoted. It's one of them things that just seem to happen. So we went to Valley Parade and we beat them 3-2 there in their own patch, and I think we had the best home record in all 4 divisions in England. I think we had 23 at home and won 19. I think we drew 1 and we lost the other ones. So we were confident of taking them back. And Naki Wells scored, and I think that knocked us out. And that was it. So that was my first year at Burton, and probably looking at it, it was a great year. You know, albeit we didn't manage to get to the final in the first year.
The playoffs down there are just brutal. I know we've had them in Scotland sort of the past 5 or 6 years, but what is it like to sort of play in those games? So there's so much pressure on them because down south especially, they're worth a lot more money as well.
Oh, they're brilliant to play in. You know, in the lead up to it, you know, it's in a small club like Burton, they couldn't believe. So obviously in Scotland and in Europe, and we're used to cameras. You know, even used to cameras about photographers and that. But suddenly you were in the playoffs, and at the training ground there's 20 cameras, and Sky Sports are there, and everything's covered, and you can see a lot of players weren't used to it, and that's where your experience came in and helped them say, no, just forget about it. No, you'd done all that as a young kid at Aberdeen and sort of had to get on with it. But you've seen sort of boys, the new hairdos, and you see all that sort of stuff that comes with it. It's like trying to look and all the photographs and everything like that. But it was great. It's like the build up to it. You're actually doing all your stuff for the final before you've even played the semi-finals for them to do that. Sort of like cutting and editing for the shows for the final. So, I think it's wrong because people start you take the focus off the first game at hand, the semi-final rather than the final itself. So, but no, it was manic, and like you say, the prize down there is unbelievable for it, especially in the Championship, going to the Prem. It's money involved is like it's going up every year. It's incredible.
It'll be interesting to see how that actually works now, just with the football shutdown and obviously the financial impact of that, whether that prize money stays the same for Championship clubs. Obviously it'll stay the same this year, but in years coming forward, whether that still is lucrative. I think there'll be a knock-on effect somewhere. It's like the initial sort of, there's probably Prem teams in the Championship still getting the parachute payments. I think it's like 50-60 million for getting relegated or something down there, and in the Championship it's hard enough trying to get to, but if you've got a Prem team coming down with that money, it's very difficult. Oh, definitely. So after your time at Burton, obviously Scottish football fans, we perhaps aren't looking at sort of Burton Albions in your old world, but my family, sort of dad's side of the family, are from Northampton.
Yeah.
So obviously we keep a wee eye on Northampton Town. I think it was you signed for them in 2014. I was like, mine's Zander Diamond.
Yeah. It came about. I'd been there. The second part of the season of the second series at Burton, like Chris Wilder, I was sort of out the picture at Burton, and Chris Wilder he'd moved from Oxford to Northampton. Oxford were second or third in the league, and Northampton were 8 points adrift at the bottom of League Two. And Chris phoned and he said, "Listen, do you want to come to Northampton like for the last 16 games?" And I went, "Well," looked at the table and you're like, I'm not too sure. Spoke to my agent and he went, "Listen, 16, you're not going to be playing at Burton, so there's 16 games to go and put yourself in the shop window, effectively." But Chris I went down the Friday and then played on the Saturday. This was on loan to Northampton at first, and we managed to stay up in the last day of the season. No other team's done it. I think the last week of the season was the only time they were at the bottom two for like so many days, hundreds of days or something like that. It was an incredible start. Having been in the playoff final the previous year under Eddie Boothroyd, there you go with a hangover. Suddenly you're one game away from getting up, and then suddenly you could be games away from getting dropping out the league altogether. Mm-hmm. So worked under Chris and Alan, and we managed to stay up in the last day of the season.
Northampton were sort of under a lot of financial pressure at that time as well. They'd managed
That's right. That was something that when I went down there in February, March, they just knocked down the stand, and they're saying that they're going to get 12 million, 13 million for the government, for the council. Mm-hmm. So at that time, and Chris Wilder had jumped ship for Oxford, who were third to somebody who was in the bottom. I don't know at that time because Chris had a great history of getting teams up from the National League. So I don't know if they'd one eye on possibly, if Northampton get relegated and Chris can take his back up. I don't know if they're looking at that side. So anyways, we stayed up in the last day of the season, which was brilliant. And then, Chris had said throughout, I'll get a contract, and you just say, "Oh, okay," you know what I mean? You kind of go along, you're playing your football, which was okay. And then the Monday after the Saturday, 6:30, 6:45, the Monday morning, there was a voicemail for Chris, and he went, phone is back. And I was like, "Okay, right." And he said, "Listen, we want you to sign. There's a 3-year contract." Like, 3 years, you're like, "Oof, you're 29-year-old. For a 3-year contract to come," we were settled in Derby. So it was like an hour commute anyhow down to Northampton. And stability, we were getting married the next year. So I went, "Oh, you bite your hand off, a 3-year deal." So managed to get down the Wednesday, got it all signed, sealed. Spoke to Gary Rowett, and Gary went, "Listen, although we're in the playoffs, we've got enough cover, we've got enough players." So that was okay. So I came back to Scotland, my golf clubs, everything like that, we're preparing. You've done your bit for Northampton, ready for this new challenge. And I think I was watching their opening game against Southend, Burton's, and the centre half gets sent off. And my dad said to me, he went, "You could be going back down the road here." I'd been out the Thursday and the Friday, because you think end of season, that's it. Chilled out on the Saturday and the Sunday. I was like, all right. So then Sunday night, Gary Rowett I was going to Sports Writers Awards in Glasgow. I got a message from Gary Rowett saying, "Listen, you're needed." And I'm like, "Oh." So what do you do? So I ended up, we were there and all the boys are getting into the beer and having a meal. And I said, "I've got a journey back to Derby tomorrow. I need to go back there." "You've just signed for Northampton," I said, "but I'm effectively contracted June the 30th with Burton." So, and I was getting said I wouldn't play for Burton again. Gary had said it. He said, "You'll not play for Burton again, so just go away." So it's amazing what football brings up, and ended up playing at Wembley in the final for them. Where we lost to Fleetwood. I came on and couldn't believe it. It was like suddenly you think your summer's done and you've done your bit for Northampton, and then Chris was on the phone. "Don't you get injured?" And you just signed a 3-year deal because the club are trying to look. You go and get injured in the playoff final with Burton. You've left them. You're going to do your medical stuff at Northampton. So a lot of messages were back and forth for the Northampton side of things and players and all that. But in the end, it worked out well. Managed to play at Wembley, and and I was going to a 3-year contract anyhow. So it was no bad summer.
Just on the contract bit there, we've seen recently the likes of Lyle Taylor kind of refusing to play for Charlton with his deal being up in a couple of weeks' time. Is that something that doesn't really cross your mind as much, knowing that you've got that contract there? You're kind of a lot more relaxed, you're not having to take that gamble.
Well, I think mine's already signed, so I was going there, my contract already signed, 3-year deal, irrespective of what happened with Burton. I think with Lyle it's a bit of a difference, isn't there? He's no signing deal. So I can understand. I can understand how much there's different arguments. I've read in recent weeks, you've seen it on Sky Sports. He's suffering because he's getting stick. A good player that is getting battered pillar to post and done well for Charlton. There's different sides of it saying you should see it through. You've got your teammates to look after. They've helped you to sort of maybe get you this move and whatnot. So it's a sticky situation. Also, he's got a family to protect. So it's one of them. I think it's more a personal choice. But if it was me, you just never know. I was never in that situation. So it's a difficult one to gauge until you're that person in that situation. And that's the thing with social media. I'm in no social media, so you don't hear the noise, as they call it. And, you can be swayed and all the stuff that comes with the social media, the negativity.
Hey, well, but it wasn't a bad wedding story, was it? You were obviously come back to prepare for your wedding, and about a week later you ended up playing at Wembley.
No, that was the following year.
Was it following?
Yeah, so when it was the following year. So so the deal was done when I was 29, and then a year, and then it was when I was 30. So it was the following year.
Aye. You won League Two as well, obviously that year as well. You were able to bring.
That's it. So get married in the summer of 2016, and then you win the championship a year. So what a year that! So we take that year, we say unbelievable. I think we broke records right, left, and centre. And I think you always say, well, Chris came in the first year. It was sort of like a transition period. He had players that he'd signed. He'd players that were inherited from Eddie Boothroyd. So at the start of that season, every player that was in the change room, he'd signed. So effectively, it was his team. Some of what he's done in Sheffield United, and some of what he's done, that he's moulded a team that is his players, nobody else. So it's on him. And that's what he always says. My team's every player that I've signed. So we started off the season. It's like you say before, it's a hectic first few weeks of the season. You're playing games and all that. And then momentum starts. We started to get a bit of momentum. Then the club was going out of business. And that's when effectively it started to get a bit real. We started pre-season where we didn't get paid. It was at a day late. So that was pre-season. And then I think the start of the season was another late payment. But then suddenly, I think it hit maybe September, October, where we spoke about the stand, the work in the stand stopped. There was a lot of whispers with money had went missing, whatever, the whole police investigation. Every night there was something on the news that the club get raided for the computers and everything like that. But these players, we just continued on. But it started to get a bit real when I think when you hear the general manager comes down all the time and the chairman's nowhere to be seen, and you sort of saying to yourself, this is, what's happening from week to week. And then Chris and his technical staff weren't getting paid. We were the only ones getting paid, effectively, because the PFA will step in. So I think from October to the takeover for Kelvin, the staff weren't getting paid. And what we were saying as players, what can you do? And don't get me wrong, we're still winning games of football, but how far does a game of football go? And we're pleasing the fans, that was it. But you've got people that's coming up to Christmas and, they're getting your kit ready, their shirts, everything like that, not getting paid. And there was a deal on the table. There was a great speech on YouTube that Chris done at Notts County. And it's a powerful speech. Those who've not seen it, I would go and watch it, and he knew a deal, it was there to be done. And he came out and he just slaughtered base. I think it was like to the name of the 11th hour. And they were talking about, the chairman's waiting for, chairman at the time is waiting for a buyer to come in. So Chris just went off and said, there is a buyer. He says, I've seen the money. It's this money and more and everything like that. The stand will be built, everything that comes with it. And so we moved on. A couple of weeks later, Kelvin came in, paid everything, but at that time we were still riding high in the league. We hadn't lost a game. We weren't losing football games, kept winning. And then we lost against Portsmouth at home just before Christmas. And we said, that's Northampton. The wheels have come off Northampton. They've been paid. They've sort of like no down tools, but sort of that they're happy now, etc., etc. And then we never lost a game of football again until the following season. That was what, never lost a game of football. So after Christmas, we won. I think we did all the away records. We won 10 in a row away records. We had clean sheets. We had the amount of goals we scored. Games we were 2-0 down in games. We'd win the game 3-2. It was such a special period that when you're in amongst it, you're like, wow at that time. I spoke about it a lot over this, doing things like this, and you speak about Northampton. It was such a special place, and such a special group of players who, you know, we would fight for each other on that pitch. We knew if we went 1 down, we'd win the game 2-1. If we're 2-0 down, we'll draw the game or we'll win the game. There was a never say die attitude. It was unbelievable. And people say, what was it like? But when you're in it, you're just ticking games off. You know, I think we effectively had the League One, I think early March. You know, we blitzed the league. You know, teams were just out to get us to take our record away. That's all they wanted. Can you be the first team to beat Northampton? Can you be the first team? But then it continued on right into the next season. Just such a special group and a special time.
Could you sort of tell at that point, obviously Chris Wilder's going on to do what he's done and continues to do at Sheffield United, could you tell then that he was a manager destined for a few steps up the ladder?
People, I think his answer is to say yeah, but at that time probably no. You know, he's a diehard Sheffield United fan, and that was one of the things that it was quite funny because being up in Scotland, it's the old firm I've been down the road. It's like Man United, you know, Arsenal for a lot of players down there, and you know, you switch your telly on, and he was looking for Sheffield United all the time. Sheffield United, you know, died in the well. He was at Wembley and all that, and as a fan, you know, a legend. And I don't think you can. I personally, he's all the traits. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think. Probably himself, you know, he probably believed in himself that he could go as high as he could. But at the time, you know, I mean, he's will to win. His organisation, you know, his discipline. You know, he allowed us, myself, 3-4 other players to police the changing room. That was something that he worked on. You know, there was 3 or 4 senior players who worked the changing room. You know, no going back and telling tales, nothing like that. Just effectively saying, you know, keeping it right, keeping the standards high. You know, that was one thing he was big on, standards. You know, I think an interview after the Liverpool game, and he was talking about the work rate. You know, it was like you run faster, you run quicker, you jump higher, you work harder than your opposition, you win the game. That's why Liverpool were top of the league. You know, he said Firmino running back 2-0 up, and it was like still running back. That's the difference. You know, the top players, if they can do it, then everybody else can do it. And that's as well speaking to young boys and coaching them. Be the best you can every day. Work hard as if it was your last training session. But he had that installed in us with a lot of video analysis with his number 2. And he brought a sports scientist in for Tottenham who their fitness levels, and that's the amount of games we won in 90 minutes plus. You know, it's phenomenal. I think one game at 96 minutes, didn't it? Stevenage. Been 2-0 down after 15, ended up winning the game 3-2. You know, that never said die attitude, but you know, it was great as well. You know, you could talk to him, you could be honest with him. He was very honest with you. You know, if your performances weren't any good, you're at to work harder or you're out the team. You know, it's simple as that. He didn't complicate things. But his organisation was very good. And I always remember it was, I don't know if I think a few boys had touched on it. We were sitting one day. The league was already done and dusted. We were into the last week of the season. We've already had our trophy against Luton at home, and we're in trade. Don't get me wrong, we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays off. It was crazy. See, for the last kind of 5-6 weeks, we had all the days off. It was like because, but he never said like what he said was go and win games, just go and win them. You know, get a bit of money for yourself. You know, get your win bonus and all that. You know, and do it for your fans. Do it for he's a brilliant group. Go and enjoy being champions. Go and enjoy sort of the rides you're going to be on. And we're playing Portsmouth now. I think there was 6,500 in Northampton fans. I can do it to Portsmouth on the Saturday. Last game of the season, and the Thursday training session. I think 30 minutes into training, just went, right, everybody into the middle of the centre circle. Boys are like, all right, what's going on here? What's the boys been up to? And either Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Boys were out all the time. You know, all the different, just enjoying it basically. And these 3 crates came out. Like 3 crates of big sort of Lucozade things, big drums. And we opened it with just ice with beer in it. He said, there you go, guys. You know, it was. No, I'm not saying that's the way to go, but he just said, there you go, just let a wee bit of pressure off. And, you know, but on the bus was great. You know, it allowed us to have a few beers, you know, sort of old school stuff. I remember going back to Sheffield United, when he went to Sheffield United, I think they'd lost their first 3 or 4 games. And he stopped at an off licence and got beers in the bus. And I think sometimes with that, it's a good thing if you're in a losing situation, because then a wee bit of truth comes out, but it's you know, and no being nasty. You know, you can divulge it, you can talk over it. You know, and how many times do you maybe go to the football and you spend time with your pal after it and have a beer, and you sort of see things differently and being honest and all that. But we, as I say, that our group was honest and he was honest and he got the best out of every single player in that group.
Do you think out of all the managers and coaches you've worked with, he's the one that's kind of been the best at getting kind of more than the sum of a squad's parts from it?
Yeah, him and Jimmy Calderwood, I'd say. You know, going back early in my career, I'd say him, because he could get every drop of energy out of you. I don't know if that was sort of, if I was young, it was a fear sort of, I know to let your standard drop or your work rate drop, but being sort of a maturer player and like looking towards sort of coaching, how you would like to sort of coach in the future, he got every last drop, every ounce, and you left it there, but there was a warmth towards him. There was a, you know, you wanted to go that extra yard, you wanted to go on that challenge, you wanted to put your head in where it hurts. You know, he said the simplest thing in football, if you can get there, he uses golf, it's like tee to green. He says, how you get the ball to tee to green as quick as you can and score the goal. So goals will win you games if, obviously they do. And if they score 2, we score 3. You know, it doesn't want to concede goals, but if it's one of them games, we outscore the opposition. And you can see that in his teams, Sheffield United, fit teams. You know, you've got centre-backs overlapping centre-backs. You know, it's something the Premier League's never seen. You know, it's all sort of, oh, you stay there, or I'll pass the ball to the centre mid or the defensive mid. He plays it. No. You've got the players, the wing backs can run the strikers and all that. You know, goals for every department. And that's what we had. I'm not saying that we played that formation, but he sort of had that sort of same mentality. That, and don't get me wrong, when you're stunned at the back and there's only 2 centre backs and the rest are all just attacking, I'm trying to like a wee bit of security. We're dropping somebody in. But he said, well, you're a good enough defender to play 2v2. You know, just go for it. It's you against him. If you win it against him, that's it. You know, and you look at it and you're like, that's quite, you know, but a lot of players want 3v2 at the back and the security of all that. So, you know, but I think a lot of you see with Sheffield United now, it's like, you know, they don't care what's behind them. It's all in front of them, and go and win the game of football and get bums off seats.
And well, obviously you went through winning League 2 and eventually finished your career at Mansfield. There was an injury there. Sort of, how was that to deal with when you sort of had to know that? Yeah,
it was hard. It was hard. So, like, after the promotion, Chris left and we went to and then we played Man United in the cup down there, and that was great. And my 3 years was up at Mansfield, Northampton. So I took a wee bit of sort of an eye on what happened at Aberdeen. Northampton offered me a deal. I was 3 years there. I'd like, you know, if you saved them, not personally, but I played a part in saving them for relegation. Then we won the title, and then I get to play of the year. So I think at that time, 3 years on the cycle, as they say, like move on, go when it's high. And I decided to move, and more so geographically as well. I was supposed to come back up to Scotland with a few teams, but Steve Evans had just been, I think he'd been installed as Mansfield manager a couple of months before, and his background of getting promotions and everything like that, and where we were in Derby, my wife was pregnant at the time, so it was to be close by, because Northampton, the commute sometimes an hour, you get it, it can be 2 hours with the traffic and everything, so Mansfield was only 20 minutes away, and you're like, wow, you know, he's saving so much time. So I went there, and there was a big project of, you know, getting promotion, and the chairman had flooded it with money, and because Steve demanded the best. You know, that was his standards, the best bus, the best. We were in suits. A lot of people, when we were playing crew, we were on suits, and they were looking at us to say, you know, you don't see that in League 2. But he went, no, he heard it from Alex Ferguson, something that, you know, you pick up as you go along. And he said, no, Fergie did that with his team. I think he did it with his team against Man United. Fergie had mentioned it. So he said his standards. But yeah, it was like the first year we were doing reasonably well, and he moved to Pittodrie, which, you know, that's where he was from. So I was enjoying it. He made me club captain. You know, that was different, because he would text 2 or 3 times every night, and I'm talking about every night. You know, it was like on a phone. So that was all new to me as well. Like I was sort of, you've got your player and like manager relationship, and it was different for me, because back in the day, like, you're talking to the manager for, what's he texting you for and all that. So it was on you. He'd be asking me questions like that, but I effectively had to watch really what I was saying, because somebody's not pulling their weight and it keeps happening. I can't really go and grass them into the manager and go, listen, you had to deal with that, but it was not to trip yourself up. So it was quite difficult. And he would ask me about training, he'd ask me about players, probably just leaning on me but you just had to be really careful because you didn't want the players to see you if changing training or saying about training or this or work rate or whatever. So don't get me wrong, it was good, it was an experience. But my wife probably will say different because she was sitting at night and the phone would go and it was Steve again. But he left and David Flitcroft came in. I think I started getting wee pains and everything like that, and I was pulling my calf and pulling my hamstring, which is something I'd never done in my career. And it was sort of like, I think I took injections in my back. I woke up one night, I had to get the paramedics and I took injections, everything like that. And so people that don't see that side of it. And about 6 months, I sort of battled injury. And in the end, I just had to it was basically the surgeon said, listen, taking out your hands, and he just wanted to finish the season off with, man. So that was the kind of make-up of me as a player. You started seeing you want to finish it, you push your body through everything, but there was at times where I couldn't even jump. And being a centre-back, you felt as if players didn't know it, the strikers didn't know it, but you weren't yourself at all. And I think I played last game against Chesterfield, which is a huge game down there. It's like an Old Firm game up here. That's how big it is down there, just with the magnitude. And that was my last ever competitive game. And just had to pack it in, 2 operations and several injections later, and then starting back to rehab. And it just wasn't. It was a non-starter. So yeah, effectively retired October 2018 and moving on to newer things.
You're still quite young, I suppose, for being on the wrong side of 30, but you're on the 32, 33?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's one of them. I mean, you always have it in your mind. It's like, what I was wanting to do is finish 2 years down there and then maybe come up and play a year up in Scotland and see where that helps. That was effectively the plan, move up and maybe play a year up here and see where it takes us. But as I said, the injury it didn't help, and it was agony. I've got a high pain threshold, but to push yourself, with just Amelia was just born at that time, and you couldn't even lift her. I remember getting surgery and they said you're not allowed to lift your baby for 6 weeks, and puts a lot of things into context. And irrespective of age, that's your health is most important in the end. And yeah, so the surgeon said, listen, if you don't stop, you could do yourself some permanent damage. And that I wouldn't say it scared me, because you still get that fire in your belly. You think you can pull up to the end, I'll get myself back. But within the first few days of rehab, even in a gym, I just couldn't. It wasn't viable to what I'd been used to, and I couldn't do it. So effectively, it was just hands up and concede to the injury.
I mean, had you already kind of started looking towards the end of your playing career, maybe started kind of looking towards your badges and that sort of thing, or did it kind of just catch you out the blue completely?
No, I'd done my B licence down in England. I was just about to be assessed, and the back injury happened, so I couldn't be out in the field and doing everything. And then a lot of off the field stuff, your mind, it's like, right, okay, it's like your house, we stay down there, how are we getting back up, we've got a young kid, everything like that. So I wanted to be assessed. They couldn't get out to the club and all that. So I'd always wanted to do coaching. I always think I've got something I can give back for a career that I've been happy enough in and done well in. So I'd already sort of started that, but I couldn't get assessed. So when I came back up to Scotland, because I hadn't been assessed, I had to go and redo my B licence up here. So effectively, you should be on your A licence, but circumstances changed it. And as I said, yeah, it's happened. So you take it in your stride, but probably more so a lot of time thinking with the injury. You can write stuff down. I watched a hell of a lot of football, probably grimacing because you want to be out there as well and playing, and probably in the back of your mind saying you're never going to do that again. So a wee tinge of that or something, you just switch it off because the emotion would get a wee bit too much. But there was always something that I wanted to do. So yeah, it set me back. The injury set me back in a couple of things, playing football and retiring in my terms, and obviously my coaching. But you take it in your stride. I'm in my B, and the pandemic hits. I'm just about to be assessed again, and the pandemic hits with that. So you just need to get on with it. You're always learning. But as you said, I always had one eye in coaching, and probably more into my 30s, where you worked under Chris, you worked under Stephen. You're probably talking to your managers as more sort of, what do you think? whereas when you're younger, you're getting told. It was like more as you're getting older and senior, what do you think and how would you change it and all that. So that's something I enjoyed and something I enjoy doing now.
Is management something that's kind of in the future for you, or you prefer the coaching aspect of it?
I love the coaching. It's like I said, I'm at a good level now at Queen's Park. It's with the 16s. And, when I first walked in the first night, I was nervous as anything. Absolutely nervous. And it was Gordon Wilde, who's Greg Wilde's father. I met Gordon at Greg's wedding. He said, a few months later, why don't you come into Queen's Park? And Gardner Spears is the head of it. So it sort of went full circle where I was a young boy and he was assistant manager at Aberdeen. So I went in, we were talking about old stories and said, right, on you go out, and they get introduced to the 16s, and you could tell like a few of them, looking at you as if to say, who's this? As we probably do as we were young and everything like that. If you don't know, I've been at the Scottish game, I need to understand that these guys probably don't look back. They look at the Prem, look at the Championship, look at the here and now. And so suddenly, like Gordon introduces you and says, go and take them for a wee session. They're putting markers down, you're like sort of looking, but you can see the boys looking and all that, and you don't want to kind of be, I'm the one that get around a marker, don't stop a shot, one, but yeah, that's the first night, just calm down, so I went in and then gradually one or two speak to you, and then they start asking you, then where did you play, position-wise, who did you play against? So then suddenly you said, we're talking about the Bayern team, the players that they know, but the current players like, when we played Man United, with Rashford, Rooney, Ibrahimovic, Gerrard when he was at Liverpool, and then you suddenly see their ears kind of go up, and then the questions come, what was he like, and this, that, and then you get a wee bit more, sort of, I wouldn't say respect, a wee bit more respect, and then suddenly, not saying they didn't respect you, but suddenly they start listening to you. We're saying, well, if he does that, it's like any young kid, any kind of older pro going in, or a pro that's just come out the game, they want to hear stories, but something they can relate to, something they can sort of speak to their pals about. Probably their fathers know, they'd probably know you for being at Aberdeen and whatnot, but it was great, I'm nervous, don't get it, Lesser Hampden, it's just all open, so the parents are watching as well, so it's not as that you're getting assessed with the parents, the kids are judging you, the coaches are sort of looking, can we keep him on? And it was great, but I've been there for 10 months now and thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it, and said like the graduals a week past, Gordon gave me more sort of leeway, doing team meetings, doing flip charts, doing video analysis with them, something that's new to them, speaking to them, doing questionnaires with them. It's just something different, and it's great fun. But as I said, it's going on, I want to learn more about the game. I want to research a lot. It's something I've done a lot through this pandemic, researching the game, watching games of football. One, a course just now, it's a bit video analysis, the SFA are running. So how you clip it and how you look at the things, and you watch it and you go, wow, now you see it, and then suddenly somebody else shows you something different, and it's all opinions again. And that's a great thing about it, it's all opinions. And I'm enjoying that side of it, but I can't wait to get back onto the grass and get the cones down, get the balls out, and see the kids again, because they're a brilliant bunch.
People really underestimate like how difficult it can be to coach at that level of youth football, by the way, because it is relentless, it is ruthless at times. Like I don't know if it's the same at Queen's Park, but like see the parents on the side, it's worse than when you're sitting at a stadium with 4,000 or 5,000 there. You've got it's just, you maybe get one mum whose boy isn't playing, and just getting you used to her coaches and stuff like that. It's just, it can be a bit intimidating at times.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's telling kids that they're not playing. They've turned up, they've trained all week, and you're not playing, or they've been messing around the training, because kids are, sometimes they fly as well. It's always a coach's fault. It's always like, it's like somebody else's fault. Footballers love to blame somebody, even at a young age. They want to blame, or the coach never spoke to me, or the coach never did that. And then the mums are ringing the football club and saying, how's he no playing? Well, what has he told you? All right, come in and meet the coaches, and we'll tell you what's happened. Or come and watch the sessions and see if you think he should be playing. Because you get ones that will. And that's where I'm talking about working hard. For that hour and a half, you've got to work hard, work better. You're all teammates. You've got to understand you're all teammates, but it's individual as well. See if you want to come in and talk to your pal. But something I don't get, sometimes I arrive at 5 o'clock. We don't start it till 5:30, and they'll stall in a bit, and they'll talk. And then training starts. and within 5 minutes they're standing and talking to each other, and you're like, you're here to work, you're here to train. That's just something I want to install. It's like, and you're not on at them all the time, and to be fair, you will be on at them because you're wasting your own time, you're wasting the coach's time. If you're going to turn up, you've had half an hour to speak, what more can you a boy that's came 5 minutes later, I want to talk about that. Listen, talk before, talk after, say that hour and a half, you're here to work. If you don't like it, I mean, at that stage you can't really say it, but that's the way you've got to be. If you don't like it, then there's the stairs. There's plenty of other boys that want to come in, they want to make it, they want to apply themselves really well. What I always say, and it's no disrespect to Queen's Park or even lower levels, you're here. You can go high as you want. You look at the players that come through Queen's Park, Robertson get the knockback, came through there, applied himself well. Shanklin done well. Barry Douglas done well. Probably one or two others. But there's more to sort of like training here. We always say about, and obviously Queen's Park are moving now, but you could be playing in there in 2 years' time in the National Stadium, because if you're good enough and you apply yourself, the manager might say, how is he doing in the 18s or the 16s, and we've got him in the 18s. He might be in there in a couple of years' time. A lot of players go about their whole career and don't play in Hampden. And that's probably cup finals and all that, or you want to play against Queen's Park or be with Queen's Park, but apply yourself well, and it's something. It's hard. Don't get me wrong, as you said, it's try to deal with that. Try to deal with it, and you get the ones that after the first night or second night, the penny drops. You still get the ones that will misbehave and that, but that's the ones the parents will be phoning. The parents will phone, oh, he's not playing, or he's doing this and he's doing that. I remember an example. One of the boys, I think we were winning a game, and the standards dropped. He did something that you're just like, he was laughing at their striker, and you're like, because they were 1-0, we were down 1-0, and it went 2-1. So as I have to say, 20 minutes ago, it's too easy. What happened? We ended up losing the game 3-2. Bad clocked it, and I was like, that's just no on. The 20 minutes ago, you're in a position where you can't be doing that. And it's a bad reflection on us as coaches, because, somebody said to me, by that boy was laughing at me when we were 2-1 down. It's a reflection on the coaching staff. So it's sort of like, standards not, it's no easy. It's when you think it's easy, that's when your standards drop and suddenly you find yourself, you're on the bench or out the club or out the game, really.
Right, well, just to finish up with, obviously Queen's Park are going through a pretty big transformation now, like yesterday signing Bob McHugh and players coming on in full-time deals. How do you see that all going now? It's obviously a big time for the club. Well,
it's great for the club. I've only been in there for a number of months as coach. It's been there for a number of years, and I think they had a vote and all that and everything to make it go professional. But Ray McKinnon's come in, and he's I think we're fourth in the league until the pandemic started. So with his experience and with his managerial at that level, and the players that he knows, there's players coming in, like known players, if you know what I mean, without disrespectful. It's like players that are tried and proven at different levels, probably higher levels, really. So you can only see it going from strength to strength, but there's also a danger with that as well. You start giving a bit, these players come in, expectation levels rises as well, and then suddenly you're there to be shot at. If you're a team like an Albion Rovers or an Edinburgh City or something like that, you'd be like, they're doing that. You want to beat that team, you want to beat the best team. Similar as at Mansfield, the chairman did everything in his power, read the best of everything, and suddenly the results don't happen, and it's a difficult one. But it's a great time to be at the football club if we're talking about that, because hopefully it'll kind of maybe filter its well down. I'm sure the youth development is a huge part for them, and you want to be part of that. So we'll just wait and see what happens. I think we've got a meeting scheduled for a Zoom meeting for next week or the week after. So as much as we said to kids, we keep working hard and we don't know when Fitler comes back. We gave them 3 weeks off now, so we can go and do what they want.
That's brilliant. Zander, thanks very much for your time. Obviously took up a fair bit there. And thank you all for watching. Obviously, subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify and Podbean. Zander, is there anything you want to plug?
No, not at all. I've enjoyed it. It's been brilliant kind of going through the sort of the years of the career and all that. And as I said, hopefully in the future, we'll come across each other again.
Will do. Well, thank you all for watching. Till next time, take it easy.